The Grand Railway Hotels of Canada are architectural icons, built by the Canadian Pacific, Canadian National, and Grand Trunk Pacific Railways to attract tourists to explore the breathtaking, rugged Rocky Peaks en route to the edge of the Pacific. From the awe-inspiring Banff Springs Hotel to the elegant Fort Garry in the heart of Manitoba, and the iconic Hotel Vancouver on the edge of the Pacific, or the Bessborough on the prairies of Saskatchewan, these hotels tell a tale of luxury in an era when passenger trains ruled the Great White North. So get ready for a ride through history and a trip through time. The story of Canada begins and ends with its railways and the railway hotels that helped to shape our country. Originally, this week's video was supposed to be dedicated to the Jasper Park Lodge, which would have been the 9th Grand Railway Hotel I'd visited this summer, but due to the Jasper wildfires, the hotel was closed and the national park evacuated, and therefore I'll be postponing my trip to the Jasper Park Lodge until a later date, hopefully next summer. But in the meantime, this video will focus on the almost 50 Grand Railway hotels across Canada, specifically with the 8 that I visited to date. Now, the Grand Railway Hotels of Canada are among the most iconic buildings in the world, and even a century later, they stand as some of the most recognizable designs countrywide. It all began in Montreal in 1878, when the Canadian Pacific constructed the Windsor Hotel right next to Windsor Station, and this success sparked a wave of expansion westward. Now, initially the focus was on small mountain towns such as Field, Glacier, and Revelstoke, and this was to attract tourists west because hauling these heavy dining cars through the mountains were a huge liability due to the decline down the mountains and also the weight of these cars. And also, not eating for days on end wasn't exactly an option either, so the railway hotels were the solution for a hot meal and a starting point to explore the Rockies. However, the focus would soon shift to the urban setting with the construction of the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City, Royal Alexandra in Winnipeg, the Palliser Hotel in Calgary, the Second Hotel Vancouver, and the Empress in Victoria, BC. And at the dawn of the 20th century, Grand Trunk Pacific would embark on an ambitious plan to complete a network of 8 railway hotels across their transcontinental route, including the Chateau in Ottawa, Fort Garry in Winnipeg, and the Hotel Macdonald in Edmonton. And these were the only 3 completed because the Grand Trunk Pacific went bankrupt in 1920 and was absorbed into the newly formed Canadian National Railways. Now, the post-World War I era brought significant changes, but it started with the Canadian Pacific beginning construction on the Hotel Saskatchewan in Regina and the Royal York in Toronto, both in 1927, while Canadian National started building their own Hotel Vancouver in 1928 and the Bessborough in Saskatoon in 1929, and these would be the final Grand Railway hotels built in Western Canada. Now, Canadian National opened the Jasper Park Lodge in 1922, and that lodge was supposed to be the final stop in my 9-part series on the Grand Railway Hotels of Canada this summer, but sadly my stay at the lodge was actually the week of the Jasper wildfires that would end up burning 30% of the town and part of the Jasper Lodge. And while the situation in Jasper is truly tragic, I think it transcends a recurring theme throughout my series, which is enjoy it while you can because nothing lasts forever, and whether it's the people that you love or the Grand Railway hotels that are now only a distant memory of the past, these hotels have had their stories woven in the fabric of Canadian history, from the Royal Alexandra in Winnipeg to Mount Stephen House in Field to the Second Hotel Vancouver and the Windsor Hotel in Montreal, or the Jasper Park Lodge, which actually burnt down completely in 1950 and was rebuilt shortly after that. And we all love a great comeback story, and assuming that the Jasper Park Lodge is back in action for next summer is going to be at the top of my list and a significant stop in another Cross Canada series covering more railway hotels next summer that I just didn't get a chance to cover this summer because this series is self-funded, and at $450 a night at the Hotel Macdonald, $550 at the Banff Springs, or $650 at the Royal York, those costs add up pretty quickly. So if you want to see me cover more, all you gotta do is just watch the previous episodes, drop a like, and leave a comment down below. Speaking of which, time for a word from today's video sponsor, Ridge Wallets. The Ridge Wallet is the best wallet money can buy. It comes with a lifetime warranty. I've had mine for almost 4 years. It holds up to 12 cards while remaining as slim as possible, with over 3 million customers and 100,000 5-star reviews. The Ridge team is so confident you'll like it that they will let you test drive it for 99 days, and if you don't like it, you can send it back, no questions asked. They also make this super durable carry-on suitcase that you've seen me traveling around with throughout this entire series and all my travel vlogs, and right now they're having a massive sweepstakes for my US audience, where the winner will get a Hennessy Velociraptor, gold-plated Cybertruck, and $100,000 cash now through September 13th. And for every $1 you spend on the site, you get 1 entry. So what are you waiting for? Get your hands on the best wallet and carry-on suitcase money can buy today, and you can even enter for free by using my link at ridge.com/trav. And thank you so much to Ridge for sponsoring this video. Now, in this series, I've gone in depth with the history of each hotel, aiming to bring their stories to life and truly use the hotel as a main character in the backdrop of Canadian history. But for the rest of this video, I want to go a little bit more in depth on the actual experiences of each hotel and some things that I learned after my visits and the videos went live. Starting with the Palliser Hotel in Calgary, and although this was the third episode in the series, this was actually the first stay for me at any of the Grand Railway hotels. And it's one of the most affordable Fairmont Railway hotels, consistently priced at around $200 to $300 a night. And I think that they have hands down the best dessert in the entire series. Their cinnamon toast crepe cake was a huge standout dessert in this series, and I was absolutely in love with the grand lobby inside the Palliser Hotel. It exudes a timeless sense of luxury that has not changed since opening day in June of 1914. And whenever I'm in Calgary next, I can guarantee that I will be making another stop at the Palliser Hotel because I cannot recommend it enough. And hey, they also have one of the comfiest beds in this series. Next up, the Chateau Lake Louise. Probably one of the most famous hotels in all of Canada. Visiting in the middle of winter did limit the activities we were able to do, but summer offers endless options for hikes, kayaking, you name it. But if you are visiting the Chateau, make sure to stock up on food and snacks from the Lake Louise Village, about 10 minutes away, because the Chateau Lake Louise is not for the budget-friendly traveler. Now, the Hotel Vancouver has over 500 rooms, making it Vancouver's largest dedicated hotel. And the hotel also has a very unique smell, and it's the same one that the Palliser in Calgary uses, and I think it's called Winter White, or something along those lines. I don't know what the name is, but I absolutely love it, and all the Prairie hotels have that same scent. It's fantastic. The hotel also has some incredibly comfortable pillows, an incredibly well-rounded culinary experience. The dinner was flawless. I love the foie gras. It was definitely one of my favorite mains in this series for culinary options. And also, if you ask the front desk, they have vouchers for guests to rent a bike from the bike shop just down the street. You go rip around Stanley Park. I thought it was awesome. Again, all you gotta do is ask the front desk, and they're usually pretty cool about handing those out. Now, the Banff Springs Hotel. First off, they had absolutely the best drip coffee in this series. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that Rocky Mountain altitude that has some influence on it, but that Banff Springs Cup of Joe hits different. But on a serious note, I was super worried I wouldn't be able to do Canada's Castle because it was so expensive. But I was able to find a wicked deal last minute because of my Fairmont status on 2 nights, and I was able to get those 2 for $550 a piece. An absolute steal compared to the typical $1,000, sometimes $3,000 a night per room. And considering this series is all self-funded, I was over the moon about that. And the Springs is absolutely breathtaking. I mean, what else can I say that you can't see on the screen? It lives up to the hype. And the Banff Springs also has hands down the best pool, with it being a hot pool, 80-degree water. It's fantastic. And in case you forgot, I've tried a lot of pools.
You know what time it is.
Cannonball!
The dining options were outstanding, the rooms were great, there was an absolute abundance of activities to do in Banff, which makes it such a fun spot to stay. And like I said in the full video, the worst part about staying at the Banff Springs Hotel is checkout, because it's that one place you're never going to want to leave. Now, back in my birthplace in Winnipeg is the Fort Garry Hotel. And first off, I think the more time goes on, the more disappointed I become in the fact that the Canadian Pacific's Royal Alexandra Hotel was knocked down and demolished in 1971. I mean, all the railway hotels were struggling in the 70s, as was passenger rail travel, and it's really great how Fairmont and Marriott have revived a lot of these, if not all of these properties. But the Alexandra makes me wonder what could have been if it was saved. But in regard to the Fort Garry, I'll be honest, I came to experience a piece of history inside my home city, and I got exactly what I came for. From the Oval Room, which was renovated to look like its original 1913 dining room, to the incredible braised beef chuck, the meatloaf dinner with my mom, I enjoyed all of it, and despite some drawbacks like uncomfortable beds, the lack of an air conditioning unit, coupled with the noise of the CN freight trains outside if you open the window, which kind of made it hard to sleep. Again, I'm all for second chances and supporting something awesome, but since 2020, when they changed ownership, it does seem like the Fort Garry is going in what I would describe as the wrong direction personally, and I hope that they can fix it because I love the Fort Garry Hotel and I want to see them succeed. Now, the Hotel Macdonald in Edmonton, modeled after the Fort Garry actually, narrowly escaped demolition in 1984 thanks to the city of Edmonton stepping in and putting in legislation to stop Canadian National from knocking the whole thing down, which thank God they didn't knock down that building because it is honestly the crown jewel of Edmonton's skyline. Maybe it looks a little bit out of place with these glass skyscrapers above it, but still, stunning spot. The location is incredible. The river valley itself is stunning. The peak of summer is the time to be here as far as things to do, although I'm sure it would be a little bit different in the winter. I also covered the culinary experience, which was, I think, by far the most disappointing dining options in this series. If you want to go back, you can take a look at that in the full episode for more on that, but all in all, it was an experience and a property that I really wanted to love, and again, I'm all for second chances, and hopefully the Hotel Macdonald can make it a better experience moving forward. Now, what about the Royal York in Toronto? Now, at $650 a night, you're paying the going rate for a downtown Toronto room for a night. The food was decent, the rooms were decent as well. I didn't get the greatest sleep, but like I said earlier, I wasn't going for state-of-the-art plumbing, a great night's sleep. I was going to experience a piece of Canadian history. And considering that the location cannot be beat, being steps away from Union Station, which is one direct train away from Toronto Pearson Airport, it doesn't get any better. And finally, the Bessborough Hotel. The best for last. The best for last. The absolute hidden gem of the series, with comfortable beds, a fantastic location near Midtown Mall, kayaking, riverboat tours, or a bike ride down the river trail with the bikes that are complimentary from the hotel. And also the Bessborough easily wins the best culinary experience in the series. The beef short rib, the chef's signature New York strip steak, scratch-made jacks, creme brulee French toast on a house-made brioche loaf. Top to bottom, the Bessborough pulls out all the stops and really impressed me at an affordable $170 to $220 a night, making it easily my top pick if you had to pick only one railway hotel to visit in this series. Saskatoon is truly a hidden gem in Canada. I highly recommend you check it out if you get the chance. To conclude, that's my journey through 8 railway hotels across Canada and 1 train trip about halfway across the country for a remarkable adventure. And I'm optimistic about continuing this series next summer because this series has been my love letter to my country and my thank you to the countless men that put it all on the line to build an Atlantic to Pacific railway and unite a country in the process. And again, I still have stops to make at the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City, the Chateau Laurier in Ottawa, Queen Elizabeth and the Chateau Champlain in downtown Montreal, Nova Scotia and Halifax, the Hotel Saskatchewan in Regina, Prince Arthur and Thunder Bay, and the Jasper Park Lodge that I was so close to experiencing this summer. And hey, maybe even a trip Banff to Vancouver on the Rocky Mountaineer to experience the original southern tracks and the southern route that I've referred to so many times in this series. I want to know, what has been your favorite episode in this series so far and why? And also, which railway hotel do you want to see me cover next? Prince of Wales and Waterton Lakes National Park, Chateau Laurier in Ottawa, whatever it is, leave a comment down below. If you have a memory from any of these railway hotels, maybe you worked there, you stayed there, you got married there, I would love to hear in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to picking up this series with you again next summer on Season 2 on the Grand Railway Hotels of Canada. I'll see you then.